Everyone, Jared with Longhorn, joined by one of our great borrowers, Alicia Harvey. And Alicia, thanks so much for joining us today. I guess first question, how did you come across Longhorn?
So there is a colleague of mine that is also, well, first of all, my apologies, Jared. Thank you for the invitation. I am thrilled to be here with you today. I appreciate that. A colleague of mine who's an investor also, he recommended, highly recommended you guys. He told me that, he had come upon this company that worked with integrity, that was able to get the deals closed. And I was like, okay, let me give it a try. So here I
And had you worked with hard money before, or was it your first experience in that space?
It was my first experience. I was doing traditional loans. I have done several of those with investment properties. And I will say that it was a huge difference. When I came over to hard money, I was just like, wow, I could have had this experience the entire time. The process was so smooth. You all were able to close the loans in a timely manner. It just seemed very organized and very service oriented. And so I was just appreciative of being able to be heard, but also get each of the deals that have closed. And I've closed a lot of deals with you guys.
Now, I think, Alicia, some people don't use hard money because they're just not aware it exists, and other people don't use hard money because it's not what they grew up learning about, and the unfamiliarity scares them. Did you have any hesitations before you started using hard money, and maybe what were some of those hesitations and how were they answered throughout the process?
I think that the knowledge gap was the place that caused me a little hesitation. Traditional institutional banks is just what we've been taught and what we feel comfortable with. And so there is a lot of confidence, I think, that goes along with that. And on the other side of that is hard money. And there's some fear because you don't understand how that actually works. And so there were lots of questions that I had. There was some hesitation. I was able to go to my colleague and get some of those questions answered. I was able to work with the loan provider, which is Greg, and I'm giving Greg snaps. And he was just always there. He held my hand through the process. And any of the questions that I had, any of the curiosities, he was just able to, put those to rest and allow me to move forward with confidence with you all. So I'm just, again, I think it's the knowledge for a lot of people. They just look at traditional banking. It's all they've ever done. It's all they've ever known. And there's a lot of confidence in that. And the fear of not knowing, what I'm getting on this side, building those relationships of trust. And then sometimes a lot of the paperwork and a lot of okay, is this a reputable bank that I'm going to be giving my money to, that I'm going to be doing business with and exposing myself to? I think is kind of that fear that goes along with that too. So it's a mindset for people that, we have to start to think outside of the box and outside of what we have traditionally known to be true.
You mentioned Greg. Greg Horn is one of our several loan consultants. We cover 7 states, and Greg runs our operations in North Carolina. So if you're watching this and you want to do business in North Carolina, chances are you're going to work with Greg Horn. Alicia's worked with Greg. You mentioned that relationship. I was wondering if you could maybe expand on it and share what that relationship with Greg is like, and how Greg, not just Longhorn, but how Greg really helped make the process smoother, easier, and successful.
I would say, Jared, the first thing is just seeing me as a person, as a human being. When my first deal, I'll never forget it. It was maybe about 7 o'clock at night. I was about to get, dinner ready for my family, and Greg called. And he's like, I got a call from you earlier today. I know it's a little late, but I wanted to return your call, Alicia. I was like, wow. Okay, thank you. And when we started talking, it wasn't, let's just jump into the busyness of it all. We started to talk about my daughter's in college, his kids, boys are in college. So we connected as people. We had some laughs. And then we jumped into, okay, and what is it that we're trying to do together, and how can we move forward? And so it was just us connecting outside of the work, right? I think that made it more comfortable for me, getting to know him as a person, me seeing him as a human being and him seeing me as such.
Well, Alicia, we really appreciate the relationship you have with Greg and with Longhorn. And thank you again for taking a few minutes to chat with us about your experience.
Thank you, Jared. You guys have been such a tremendous help. I'm trying to, do something different. And I am so glad and tremendously grateful that I came upon Longhorn Investments. So thank you guys for closing every deal that I've done with you guys. And again, doing it with integrity. I appreciate you.
Well, we love having you a part of our team.
Thank you. Have a great one.